I stood in my Seattle penthouse, the city's skyline glittering through the floor-to-ceiling windows, but the world felt like it was collapsing. In my hands was a Christmas invitation, its gold-embossed edges glinting under the chandelier. The Langley family crest, my family's crest, stared back at me, mocking. "Join us for a magical holiday at the Aspen Estate," it read, the calligraphy elegant, precise. My parents, Edward and Victoria Langley, had outdone themselves, but the postscript, in my mother's meticulous handwriting, was a knife to the gut. "Adults and Ava and Liam only. Please respect our wishes." Ava and Liam, my sister Claire's twins, welcomed, adored. My son, Oliver, explicitly barred. My 8-year-old, with his galaxy-obsessed mind and sensory quirks, wasn't worthy of their lavish winter wonderland. I reread it, hoping I'd misunderstood. I hadn't. The words burned, each letter a fresh wound. I tossed the invitation onto the counter, my hands shaking. Ryan, my husband, was still at his cybersecurity firm, and Oliver was asleep in his room, his star projector casting constellations across the ceiling. I was alone with this betrayal. I should have seen it coming. My parents had always favored Claire, her charisma, her social triumphs, her perfect life. Growing up on Mercer Island, I was the academic prodigy, the one who coded apps in high school and landed a C-suite tech job by 30. But Claire? She was the golden child, the influencer with 1 million followers, married to Marcus, a real estate tycoon. My achievements, my innovations, my patents were cold. As my father once said, his tech titan ego dismissing my corporate world. Claire's curated Instagram posts, those were art, worthy of Victoria's philanthropy galas. The invitation wasn't just a slight, it was a declaration, and it didn't stay private. By noon, my phone was buzzing. A viral X post had leaked the invite, the internet erupting with hashtags, Langley family drama, tech mom shamed. Lauren Langley's son banned from family Christmas, screamed the comments. My reputation as a tech executive was under fire, my inbox flooded with reporters' requests. Someone had sent that invitation to the wolves, and I had a sinking feeling it wasn't a stranger. I thought back to Mercer Island, to the sprawling mansion where Claire's laughter always drowned out my voice. I was 12 when I built my first algorithm, 15 when I won a national science fair. But Claire's homecoming queen crown? That got a framed photo in Dad's office. Edward Langley, the man who turned a startup into a tech empire, saw my brilliance as a threat, not a legacy. Victoria, with her charity balls and flawless smile, preferred Claire's charm, her ability to work a room. My husband, Ryan, from a working-class Oregon family, never stood a chance against Marcus's old money pedigree. And Oliver, sweet, sensitive Oliver, was the ultimate outlier. Oliver's birth was chaos, a 36-hour labor, a NICU stay, his tiny body wired to monitors. Claire's twins, Ava and Liam, arrived a year later, picture perfect, their hospital photos plastered across Victoria's Instagram. When Oliver was 6, we got his diagnosis, sensory processing disorder and autism. It explained his meltdowns, his need for routine, his hatred of loud noises. I saw it as clarity, a map to help my son navigate the world. My parents? Edward scoffed. He'll grow out of it. Victoria nodded, her eyes distant. They never asked about his therapy, his progress, his brilliant mind. The first exclusion came at their 45th anniversary gala. Ava and Liam, barely 4, were paraded like royalty, their names etched on the program. Oliver, 5, was shuttled to a nanny in a back room. I found him later, clutching his stuffed rocket, asking why he couldn't sit with us. "Why don't Grandma and Grandpa love me?" he whispered. I held him, my heart shattering, promising I'd fix it. Didn't. The slights kept coming. Claire's cousin retreats at the Aspen Estate, ski trips, bonfires, s'mores, never included Oliver. His behavior's unpredictable, Claire said, her voice dripping with pity. It scares Ava and Liam. I swallowed my rage, but it festered. Then came the dangers. A whistleblower at my firm leaked doctored emails claiming I'd misused funds. The timing was too perfect, the sabotage too precise. Ryan, with his cybersecurity expertise, traced faint digital footprints to a private forum Claire frequented. My car's brakes failed on a rainy Seattle highway, my heart pounding as I swerved to avoid a semi. The mechanic confirmed tampering, linked to a business rival with ties to my father's empire. Our Seattle home was broken into, Oliver's therapy records stolen. Each incident felt personal, targeted, a warning. The Aspen estate, once my childhood haven, became Claire's playground. My visits were relegated to tense afternoons, Oliver sidelined while Ava and Liam ruled the snow-dusted lawns. Victoria's Instagram was a shrine to her perfect grandchildren, Oliver cropped out of rare family photos. Then I discovered the trusts. $100,000, 0 cents each for Ava and Liam, a paltry $5,000, 0 cents for Oliver. My parents' wealth, their legacy, was a hierarchy, and my son was at the bottom. A cryptic email from my cousin Sarah, a forensic accountant, lit a spark. "Check the family accounts," she wrote. "There's more to Oliver's exclusion." I didn't know what she meant, but it gnawed at me. At Thanksgiving, the final straw, Oliver, alone at a folding table in the Aspen dining room, while Ava and Liam giggled at the main table, crystal glasses clinking. Victoria's excuse? His sensory issues make him unfit for the chaos. I wanted to scream, to upend the table, to demand they see my son's worth. Instead, I drove home, Oliver asleep in the back seat, and faced Ryan's ultimatum. "Cut them off, Lauren," he said, his voice low, "or I'm taking Oliver to my parents in Oregon for Christmas. He deserves better." I nodded, but my mind was racing. Sarah sent a flash drive, encrypted files labeled Langley Legacy. I hadn't opened it yet, but its weight felt like a ticking bomb. The invitation's fallout was relentless. Ex-users tore me apart, some accusing me of faking the drama for sympathy, others calling me a neglectful mother. Anonymous threats arrived, targeting Oliver. "Stop digging or he pays." Sarah met me in a dimly lit cafe, her eyes darting. "Edward directed Oliver's inheritance," she whispered, sliding documents across the table. "Claire's got offshore accounts, and your 20% stake in the family real estate, it's down to 2%. Claire's at 48%. My blood ran cold. Emails from Claire to Victoria surfaced, framing me as unfit, blaming my genetics for Oliver's autism. The Christmas card photo mailed to thousands had Oliver digitally erased a perfect family without him. Then the poisoning attempt. At a corporate event, I sipped wine and collapsed, my vision blurring. The hospital confirmed tampering, the culprit a hired operative with ties to my family's rivals. My CEO called the next day, his voice clipped. "Resolve this scandal, Lauren, or you're out." Edward's lawyers followed, threatening a defamation suit unless I retracted my exaggerations. I was done playing their game. Oliver's science fair was the turning point. He stood on stage, presenting an astronomy project, flawless, passionate, his voice steady as he explained black holes to a rapt audience. My boy, my brilliant boy, was enough. More than enough. I called Sarah and Ryan. "We're going to Mercer Island," I said. "We're ending this." The mansion loomed as we arrived, its columns stark against the winter sky. I clutched the flash drive, the invitation, the trust documents, Sarah's emails. Inside, Edward sat at his mahogany desk, Victoria beside him, their faces unreadable. I laid out the evidence, my voice steady. "You chose Claire's image over your grandson's worth," I said. Edward leaned back, his eyes cold. "Oliver's future is unpredictable. We protected the family legacy." Victoria's tears fell, but her words cut deeper. "We love him, Lauren, but his disruptions ruin our harmony." Claire burst in, her face flushed. "You're orchestrating a witch hunt," she screamed. You're jealous, always have been. I played the therapy recordings, Claire's voice clear, Oliver's a family embarrassment. The room went silent. Sarah dropped her bombshell. Edward planned to sell the family business, cutting me out entirely. A document hinted at a secret sibling, a shadow tied to the wealth disputes. I didn't have time to process it. I delivered my ultimatum. Equal trusts for Oliver, a public apology, neurodiversity training, or I'd go public. Edward scoffed. Victoria pleaded, "Don't destroy our legacy." I walked out, Oliver's hand in mine, Ryan at my side. "You chose wrong," I said, the door slamming behind us. Christmas at Ryan's parents' Oregon ranch was everything Aspen wasn't. Sensory-friendly lights, quiet corners, Oliver laughing as he built a snowman. Free from judgment, he thrived, his confidence soaring. Marcus, Claire's husband, called, his voice heavy. "I'm ashamed of her," he said. "I'll help." My lawyer secured a court order, freezing Edward's asset transfers. At a school event, Claire approached, her eyes red. "I was jealous," she admitted. "I'm sorry." It wasn't enough, but it was a start. I founded a neurodiversity advocacy group, connecting with parents who understood. Oliver's worth wasn't in trusts or estates. It was in his mind, his heart, his unbreakable spirit. As I watched him sketch constellations, I vowed to protect that light, no matter the cost. The Langley legacy could crumble. My family, my real family, was here, and we were enough. Chapter 2. The Shadows of Secrets. The Oregon Ranch was a sanctuary, its snow-dusted fields stretching under a starlit sky. Oliver's laughter echoed as he chased Ryan's old border collie, his sensory headphones tucked in his pocket, unused for once. My in-laws, Mary and Tom, had transformed their modest home into a haven. Soft lights, a quiet nook for Oliver's puzzles, a telescope for his stargazing. No gold-embossed invitations here, just warmth, but the weight of the Mercer Island confrontation clung to me, a shadow I couldn't shake. The flash drive Sarah sent burned in my pocket, its encrypted files labeled Langley Legacy, a siren call I hadn't yet answered. Back in Seattle, the X-storm hadn't calmed. The viral post about the Christmas invite had splintered into factions. Some users championed Oliver, others branded me a fame-hungry liar. My firm's board was circling, the hostile takeover rumors gaining traction. A tabloid ran a fresh hit piece, sourced from Claire's PR machine, accusing me of abandoning Oliver for my career. Each headline chipped at my armor, but Oliver's smile, his newfound ease, kept me grounded. I was fighting for my reputation anymore. I was fighting for him. Ryan caught my eye across the ranch's living room, his jaw tight. "You need to open that drive," he said, voice low. "Sarah's not the type to send dead ends." I nodded, but fear gnawed at me. Sarah's last warning, about Edward redirecting Oliver's inheritance to Claire's offshore accounts, was bad enough. What else was buried in those files? I plugged the drive into my laptop, the encryption prompt glaring. Ryan, ever the cybersecurity guru, cracked it in minutes. The screen filled with documents, bank statements, emails, a scanned letter in Edward's jagged handwriting. My breath caught. The letter was dated a year after Oliver's birth, addressed to a lawyer. "Ensure Oliver's trust is minimal," it read. "His condition may require institutional care. Claire's children are the future." Institutional care. The words seared my vision. My son, not even 2, already written off. Another file revealed Claire's emails to a private investigator, digging into my fitness as a mother. "Lauren's genes caused this," she wrote. "She's too ambitious to care for him." My hands shook. Claire hadn't just excluded Oliver. She'd weaponized his autism to erase him. Sarah called as I scrawled, her voice urgent. "There's more, Lauren. I found a trust account in the Caymans tied to a name I don't recognize. Not Edward, not Claire. Someone else. The secret sibling hint from Mercer Island flashed back. A document suggesting Edward had another child, hidden, tied to the family's wealth. Who? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. I'm digging, Sarah said, but Edward's selling the business to cover tracks. You're out of time. The next blow came at dawn. My phone pinged with a security alert from our Seattle home. Cameras caught a figure masked, gloved, slipping through the back door. Nothing was stolen, but Oliver's astronomy books were scattered, pages torn. A message was scrawled on his desk. Back off. Ryan's team traced the intruder's VPN to a server Claire's PR firm used. My sister wasn't just manipulating. I called my lawyer, Kate, who filed for an emergency injunction to freeze Edward's asset sales. We've got a shot, she said, but you need more evidence. Oliver's nightmares returned that week. He'd overheard Claire's burden comment on a family call, and now he woke screaming, convinced he was broken. I held him, my fury boiling. You're perfect, I whispered, stroking his hair. They're wrong. But his doubt lingered, a wound I couldn't heal. Ryan suggested therapy, but Oliver's records, stolen in the break-in, made me wary. Someone was watching, waiting for me to falter. Then Marcus called. Claire's husband, the tycoon I'd always pegged as complicit, sounded broken. I didn't know, he said. Claire's obsessed with the Langley image. She's terrified of losing it. He'd found her burner phone, texts to a fixer arranging the car tampering, the wine poisoning. I'm leaving her, he said. I'll testify if you need me. It was a lifeline, but I didn't trust it. Marcus had benefited from Claire's schemes. Why turn now? Sarah arrived in Oregon, her laptop brimming with new files. The Cayman account, she said. It's linked to a woman named Elena, mid-50s, lives in Vancouver. Edward paid her hush money for decades. A photo loaded. Elena, sharp cheekbones. Edward's eyes. My half-sister. Sarah's voice dropped. She has a son, David, your age, institutionalized as a teen, autism severe. Edward hid them to protect the Langley brand. My stomach churned. Oliver wasn't the first grandchild Edward had erased. The documents painted a grim picture. Edward had siphoned millions to Claire, using Elena's silence as leverage. My 2% stake in the real estate empire? Funneled to Claire's accounts, with Victoria's signature. A deleted voicemail from Victoria, recovered by Ryan, broke me. I regret signing Oliver's trust away, she whispered, her voice cracking. Edward said it was best. My mother, complicit but conflicted, had chosen the family image over her grandson. I flew to Seattle for a board meeting, the takeover threat looming. My CEO, Greg, was blunt. Your family drama's tanking our stock. Fix it or you're out. I presented a new AI patent, my team's latest triumph, buying time. But outside, a protester hired, I later learned, by Claire's fixer, threw paint on my car, screaming, neglectful mother. Ex-posts exploded. Claire's influencers spinning the narrative. I was drowning. Kate called with news. The injunction passed. Edward's asset sales were frozen, Oliver's trust partially restored. But Edward's lawyers countered, accusing me of fraud. The legal battle was just beginning. Then Oliver's school emailed. He'd won a regional science fair, his black hole model earning first place. I flew back to Oregon, heart swelling, and watched him accept his medal. His grin brighter than the stage lights. For you, Mom, he said, hugging me. I vowed to end this. For him. Sarah uncovered Elena's address. I drove to Vancouver, Ryan at my side, Oliver safe with Mary and Tom. Elena's house was modest, her face weary but kind. Edward paid me to disappear, she said. David's care was my price. Her son, now 38, lived in a facility, his autism too severe for home. Edward called him a flaw, she said, tears falling. Like your Oliver. I showed her Oliver's science fair photo, his proud smile. She touched it, trembling. Fight them, she said, for both our boys. Back in Oregon, I planned the next move. Kate prepped a lawsuit using Marcus's testimony and Sarah's files. Ryan fortified our home's security, his jaw set. Oliver, sketching nebulae, asked, "Will Grandma ever like me?" I knelt, meeting his eyes. "We don't need her to. You're enough." He nodded, but the question lingered. Claire texted a single line, "I'm sorry, can we talk?" I didn't reply. Her apology felt like a trap, but Marcus's call echoed in my mind. Was she cracking? I didn't know. The Langley legacy was fracturing, secrets spilling like blood. Elena's story, David's erasure, Oliver's exclusion. It was all connected, a tapestry of shame Edward wove. I wouldn't let it claim my son. The ranch's quiet wrapped around us, Oliver asleep under his star projector. Ryan's hand found mine, his strength steadying me. The fight wasn't over. Edward's lawyers, Claire's schemes, the board's pressure loomed. But Oliver's laughter, his brilliance, was my anchor. I'd exposed the Langley lies, reclaimed his worth, and found allies in Sarah, Marcus, Elena. The neurodiversity group I'd started grew, parents sharing stories. Strength, true family wasn't gold embossed or aspen bound. It was here, in Oregon's snow, in Oliver's fearless heart. I'd protect that light no matter the cost, and tear down anyone who dared dim it.